planets across the sky. He sings the clearest melody. It makes me want to cry. It makes me want to sit right down and cry, cry, cry. Yeah. I walk along the city streets so dark with rage and fear. What's up, JT?
I had to record this. So I can remind myself of how we lost our entire audience in the first 3 minutes of this. That I have nothing to say. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh,
I was like, you should have invited me, like, did your opening, and then I came in. Because hearing that's going to be hard to unring that bell. And wait until I bring this once you come back to Clubhouse. This is no doubt going to be a moment that I will never forget. But thank you.
Oh, man. Welcome to the Greatness Machine, guys. I'm your host, Darius Mirshahzadeh, and we are in for a special treat today. We have the one, the only, you know him, you love him, the one and only, my main man, JT Foxx. Welcome to the show, my brother.
I'm doing good. I mean, we should all just go. It was horrible, too. Like, it was like, it was like, I'm Michael Jackson.
Did you like that? You like that?
No, it's horrible. Like, it was just like, it was not even like, it was like, dude, I have my own podcast. I do whatever I want. And then people probably sending you comments like, oh my God, you're so good because they're just kissing your butt. Or something like that. Because that was just like, that was like, even the little cartoons on your, like, surrounding us were like, look at their faces. They're like, what? You know,
like, did he just really do that? Yeah, no, I do that.
I have more hair in those cartoons as well, unless it's not you. Like, this is very misleading. This whole show is being misleading. I'm very misled by what I was going to be. What's happening? People don't look like the same. I'm singing. I mean, it's like, it looks like a Halloween setup. I don't know what's going on here as well.
You like that?
Ashton Kutcher is going to come out any minute and be like, we got you. And I'm like, you did. You know,
this is all Fugazi. Oh, man.
Fugazi, not Fugazi. Fugazi. You gotta get
Fugazi. So this, I don't think there could have been a better intro to the show given my experience with my main man here, JT Foxx. So JT, the show is called The Greatness Machine. It's about those people that are living their passions to create greatness in the world. And you are neither short of passion nor greatness. And I'm so happy to have you here. And of course, you would have so much to say about the wonderful intro that I do where I serenade my guests. But I'm so glad to have you here. Do you mind if I give a little bit of...
Scared. Which one?
Which one? What?
Serenaded or scared?
A little both. Let's rearrange the letters. You're close.
Just think about it. Like, I'm there waiting, like, all right, we're going in the air. And all of a sudden, I'm like, and I'm like,
I wish that
like, what's going on? Like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I just text my CEO. I'm like, oh, like, and I'm like, what's going on here? She goes, I don't know. You know him. I'm like, yeah, I know. But didn't you vet this? Like, did you give me a show or something like that? I'm like, you had him on your show. I'm like, was he good? I'm like, yeah, but he didn't do this.
No, this is my shtick. You know, where this was born was I used to do only lives, and there was a weird delay for the first 30 seconds. And I saw a friend and said, hey, what do you think about my show? They said, you know, it's really awkward in the beginning. You don't know when you're live or you're not because there's a delay. And so I said, oh, I'll fix it. I'm just going to sing for the first 30 seconds of my show. And so it was born, and this is part of the Greatness Machine. But enough about me and my singing. Let's go about you. Talk about you. So I want to give background. So JT and I met a couple moons ago on the platform known as Clubhouse, and I get on the app, and within about a week, I get in. I think you and I got on around the same time. I got on January 1st. When did you get on?
31st.
Okay, so we came on within 24 hours of each other, and within I think a week. There was this like shit that goes down where this girl Akimi brings this guy who I don't know GT. I'm not like, we didn't know each other. I didn't know you. You didn't know me. And she brings him into the room, and there's like 2,000 or 3,000 people in this room, and they're roasting JT. She's roasting JT for disrespecting her in front of his daughter and this, that, and the other. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And
all I said, for the record, there was a special room, and I guess there was a woman who'd be like, I have some disability. I'm like, I'll coach you for free. And then a bunch of people jumped in. I'll coach you, right? And then everyone started yelling at each other because the microphones, right? So imagine you have like 40 microphones all jumping, and they started yelling. I'm like, whoa, calm down, not knowing. And then a call came up. And so I got off the call, and I'm getting like tons of DMs like, wait, get back here. I come back in there, and they're like, you disrespect, you kicked me to the audience. And there was all this drama. And next thing you know, there's like a room with 2,400 people about how I'm women's planning and all that. And so I just like went in there and be like, all right. And then it was kind of one of those situations, nothing you could say would make it right. And then there's like crying, and my daughter heard that. So let's backtrack in there. Your daughter basically cried because someone said, calm down.
Right. So I came into this like room 2/3 of the way in. I'm new to the app, and within 2 weeks, leave it to human beings to create drama in any environment, and they'll do it. Right. This is one of the lessons I've learned from being on the Clubhouse app. But I will say this, and this was the moment that I was like, I like that guy. Was actually that moment, because I was like, totally kept his cool, was respectful, did not fire back, took it, and then moved on. And then that snowballed into a shit.
Let's stop for a second too. So I didn't do anything wrong, right? So I just said, I'm sorry if anybody was offended. So you just basically take it. But it wasn't like, oh, okay, all right, well, all right, let's all move on. They wanted you canceled. So the problem is that people don't want to. We used to be a time where if someone says sorry, then okay, done, apologize, sincere, and they're like, they didn't want sorry, they want to be canceled. So, and that's the society we live into now. Nobody wants to accept an apology. And so it's kind of like how the world works now. So they just, and by the way, and then when I'd say something and someone said, you know what, let's give JT a break, and apologize, and moved on. And all of a sudden I'm like, we cannot leave him off the hook. But like, I said I was sorry, like how many times? And then I guess I left after 2.5 hours of just taking it. And by the way, then it became about race, and it became about everybody else. Like I was responsible for everything wrong that ever happened on planet Earth, which, old me probably would have been confrontational about it and got attacked. But it was like a situation. It was like, 2,500 people against one. And then I just had to leave because obviously stood there 2.5 hours. And then all of a sudden, then I started getting attacked. You didn't stay. I stayed 2.5 hours and I listened, so this is the crazy world.
Well, again, this is literally my introduction to meeting JT. And then he ended up hosting a bunch of rooms, these pitch rooms, and I would come up and he pulled me on stage, and I would tell you, this was in all of January, and probably towards the end of January is when shit started blowing up again. But we had we would have these great pitch rooms, and we were laying into people and telling them giving them really the hard truth about their businesses. And it was a lot of fun. It was something like, it was kind of like, it's like, did you go to Studio 54 when so-and-so performed? That was the moment on that app this is a new app that's blowing up, but I would say those first 60 days on the app, from January 1st, December 31st, probably till the end of February, was a pretty unique time where you saw a ton of traction, a lot of interest in the app. And JT, without question, was running, in my opinion, probably the best business rooms on the app. And even to this day, you are doing. But at that point, when it was super hyper competitive, you were doing that. And we got to spend a lot of time together talking to businesses. But I wanted to give some background about you. Do you mind if I give our audience some of your official bio?
Sure. Well, I could just tell you, then you give it. A lot faster if you want.
Yeah. Why don't we do this? I want to, I'd love to learn more about your background. I've heard some of it on Clubhouse, but I'd love for you to kind of give us background. Obviously you've done some amazing things in the business world, but why don't you give some background on how you got started in a business, what you do right now in your business life, and how you got there?
Well, I'm originally from Canada, and over 10 years ago, I moved from Canada to the United States after watching one of those late night infomercials on how to get rich in real estate. And I tried it in Canada, and they said it didn't work. You need to move to America. So I moved with $974, went down to negative 34,000, moved to Chicago, slept on an office couch, ate ramen noodles, showered at the gym. And pretty much my whole life, people said I would never make it. So I'm 30 days from having to move back to Canada because I got no money. Then I did my first real estate property, made $74,000. Was not with my own money. I found partners. Second one was about I believe it was 140. believe it was 149. Sorry, 174 was the second deal. And then the third deal was going on and on. I did 500 deals all using my own money. And then I had I got invited to be on a radio show, which they really liked me. So they gave me a show, and I self-syndicated all across the United States and in Canada. And then I started speaking, and I started like taking over businesses, starting businesses, growing businesses. Now we're in, I've got a lot of companies and brands, like so much now. My goal is to get 100 by the end of the year. And we're in 54 countries. We have clients in 104. And now, you know, my time before the pandemic was to be on some of the biggest stages in the world, speaking 5,000-10,000 people. Now, because since the pandemic, and even now, I'll never go back to the level that I did before, is primarily start investing in a lot of things, buying companies, taking pieces of companies, be on boards, lots of investing. You know, also we have one of the biggest coaching companies in the world. But that's kind of like secondary to some things I do. So I'm mostly like a deal guy. I have private equity. And, I made this sort of decision that, you know, we want to strive up to be the next Blackstone now. So that's kind of where I'm focusing my attention. Yeah.
So when you look at, I mean, it's a really cool entrepreneurial story, especially, you know, and I can relate to it as far as moving to I moved to San Francisco with, you know, negative $10,000 to my name and built up from there. So it obviously takes a lot of grit and a lot of, you know, passion and sweat and to make that happen. How long would you say it took for you to go from the point of when you started to when you're like, all right, I got some real traction here that I can lean into, and that I'm gonna really grow this thing into something big?
Well, I made my first million within 11 months of moving to America at the age of 24. I made my second 25. I had 10 million at 28, and then obviously built a 9-figure business in my 30s. So I think, like, and even before I even started speaking or coaching, I had made $10 million in real estate. And I feel like everybody knows they do one deal and they're an expert, or buy my course this, you haven't achieved any success and you're selling courses or doing masterminds. And it used to be in the old days where you basically had to do it and then teach it. Just like you had to succeed, then write the book. Now everybody wants to write a book before they've succeeded. And what people don't know is that nobody cares how sad your story is, right? Nobody cares how big your excuses are. And so people buy results in anything you do. And results don't lie, but people who don't have any always do. And they make up things. I mean, listen, you can buy yourself a Forbes Council, right? I'm on Forbes Council. Oh, congratulations, I'm nominated. What an honor to be nominated. Dude, you gave $5,000. Like, seriously. Like, you know, there's a difference between, okay, you bought a magazine cover, like you bought Forbes or article or stuff like that. And I have no problem, or a lot of people buy Instagram likes and followers. And I got no problem with that. Okay. So on the surface, because everything's pay for play for now. You used to not be like that, but it's all pay for play. But when you brag about it, like you accomplished it, there's a difference between, okay, this is what I see, right? Versus now bragging about it. Like, I've got 5 million social media followers. Like, dude, you bought them. Like, right? So they're teaching you how to get 5 million social media followers, but they bought it. Right. So you could, like, but the average person does not, but people like me do, you know, just like Clubhouse. I mean, you know, it's not the same it was. But I could tell based on the content people give, the stories that they give, whether they achieved it, didn't achieve it, because you could tell by the level of stories that they explain and the depth of the stories, right? Like, you know, like, what's the key to marketing? Set up a profile, put hashtags. Like, I know you're broke. You know, like, it's like, that's not, you know, like, go to TikTok, Instagram Reels. Like, you don't have depth of understanding about marketing and branding. And so most successful people go, oh, congratulations. In the back of their mind, they're like, oh, that person is full of it. While others, like, who don't know better, are like, oh, I'm so inspiring. So, you know, it's just become that type of world now where, you know, people are like, monetize your knowledge. I'm like, you haven't accomplished anything. Why would anybody learn from you? So people are like, well, I have a story to tell. Like, but what happens is other people enable that behavior. So I'm the Simon Cowell, right? I tell people how it is. And whether you agree or disagree, I have one of the biggest followings there. I'm the best in the world at what I do. So, and I can look at people, know if they're lying to me, not lying to me, if they're real, not real, or even, you know, when we're in Clubhouse, the tonality of people's voices, I can tell by the confidence level, because I think 8 moves ahead, because I'm confident about my abilities. So Well, I assume everyone's telling me the truth until there's one thing that's off. And once one thing is off, everything is off. Like I assume everything is BS. And it's usually what happens, right? Because people got to tell 7 lies to cover their one lie. And there's 2 types of liars, to be honest with you. There's conscious liars, people who lie on purpose. And then there's subconscious liars, people that lie to themselves. Like they've said that so many times that it's not their fault or this or that. So they start believing their own lies.
Yeah, it's, I think that a lot of people, and part of this is cultural, is because of social media, it's the barrier to entry to prove that you're cool is one rented Lambo away, right? So I could go, I mean, I'm making an example up, but I can literally.
But even people have it. Let's just assume you do have a Lambo, right? They use it as in marketing. And by the way, I live in a giant house. I've got all the toys. I do not show it. I've got I have a watch collections that can buy entire neighborhoods, right? But I don't show it. I don't show my houses. I don't show my car. And I'll tell you why. Have you ever seen Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk showcase their wealth?
Oh,
like Jeff Bezos, yo, what's up, man? I'm a baller. Look at that bow. What's up? You know what I mean? And the reason why you're showing that is because you're trying to sell things to people. Entrepreneurs, right? That type of people who will cut out, like, this is my vision board. This is the boat I want. Here's the plane I want. Here's the watch I want. Well, rather than cutting out things, why don't you do those very things? And so I came from a generation and a generation of learning that you need to like don't focus on what you have. Focus on what your clients have. Don't focus on your Lambo. Focus that your client bought a Lambo for you. And if I was coaching, I'd probably say to you, dude, you don't need a Lambo. That's $240,000. You can buy an asset with that as well. And by the way, it depreciates 20%. The tires are this, so it's not me. I just come from a different era of fundamentals, great knowledge, and let the results speak for themselves. Now it's this fake it till you make it. And it's just very frustrating, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think you and I were born from the same era, right? Because I came from that same era where there was social media was just coming out probably right when you and I first got into business. And it was very, it wasn't where people were not leveraging social media to build businesses back then. So you had to go.
Have you ever posted a picture of your house?
I think I did when it was under construction, but my house is also something that if you saw it, you wouldn't know it's a really nice house until you.
Well, because of the location, but because of location, it's a very expensive house, right? That's what I'm saying. Like it would.
Oh yeah. My house is. It's really funny what you're talking about. My house from the street appeal, you would have no idea. You walk in, you're like, holy shit, it's one of those. It's meant to be discreet, right? I designed it that way.
You ran out of money. You put all the money inside. You're like, shit, I don't have any money outside. You know what I mean? Like put money outside. We don't live outside. We live inside. What?
No. I swear to God, my wife.
You don't want people to come to your concert. I have a kitty house on the outside.
I want to see anything about my house. No, my wife is not. She doesn't like that stuff. My wife is like, no gaudiness. Like you can't tell. It's designed to blend in with a pretty moderate neighborhood. But it's a nice house and it's on a big property. You wouldn't know though. I'm not like that though, man. I'm like you. I'm not going to tell you anything about myself. You don't need to know. You need to know what type of person I am. What I own is my business.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why? Like, people say, "Oh, why don't you tell everybody everything you own?" Like, why? Like, first of all, do you plan on buying stuff? Like, do you plan on saying, you know what, I am going to buy every product? No, the only reason why is to say, like, oh, you don't own it. Then you show it. Then they're like, you don't own 100%. Yeah, here's 100%. And then they're like, oh, they're not making money. Yet they are. Like, because people are looking to make you wrong. And I learned a very valuable lesson. Never tell anyone everything you own, because there's no, they're like, well, this person showcase everything they own. Yeah, because they're publicly traded. But ask yourself too, what private investments does Bill Gates own? Right? Because I'm sure they have a family office. Right?
Yeah. You have no idea. They're not going to disclose that. So I want to go into the direction of, obviously, the way we met was through a social media app where you're, and you on that app, you're putting on a bit of a I don't want to say performance, but you're creating some drama. You're doing some stuff. You're being aggressive, more so than if someone's talking to you privately. And so part of that is just a persona, but part of that's probably part of your personality. It's an element of your personality. Why did you decide to take that approach with Clubhouse?
Well, because it's what made me successful. I'm known as the Simon Cowell, like Chef Gordon Ramsay, or even Steve Jobs. I mean, whether people like Steve or Jobs or not, if you ask the people that know him, I know Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak. I knew, one of his best friends, Mike Slave, worked at Apple. And they told me like Steve was an asshole, and not to say I was an asshole. Like Steve Jobs in today's era probably would have had 1 million hashtag against him, right?
He would have got canceled so hard.
Right, you would have canceled so hard. Same thing with Bill Gates, and I think we've become a society where we're soft. Everybody gets a participation trophy. Everything is inappropriate. Everything should be canceled. Like, oh, cancel Nordstrom. You don't even shop at Nordstrom, right? But the problem is, why everybody's worried about canceling everybody else, they're not focusing on what they need to do. So that's why there's a gap, right? And then being successful in this country is bad. Rich people are bad. Rich people should pay more taxes. All of these things, because it's penalizing. I think it's penalizing success. People listen to this show, they want to improve themselves, right? And so as entrepreneurs, we are incentivized. If you tell me, JT, you're going to pay a lot more taxes if you do this, right? I'm like, why would I do it? Like, there's no, and so tell me if I hire 5 people and I get a discount, I will do that too. So there's not incentivization, which is what entrepreneurs are, because we're all in. But I just give the people the truth, and whether people like it or not, I have one of the biggest audience there, self-made. That's despite them trying to restrict me, handcuff me, attacked by everybody known possible to man. And it's like making up stuff about me. But if you don't like me, you don't like my style, right? You don't like my style. Like someone said, I disagree with your style of coaching. Well, yeah, you charge $100 for a coaching session. I'm a 6-7 figure coach, right? I partner with billionaires. I do business with billionaires. I coach celebrities. So you may not like it. And you know why? The number one reason why high net worth individuals or successful people like me? It's because I'm no BS. I tell it how it is, right? You want love, get a dog, right? You want approval, get somebody else. You want the truth from me. Now, here's the thing. I don't just break people down. I always give them the answer back. But sometimes people don't think they did anything wrong. And that's the worst, because we all have a level of permafrost, right? And something's frozen, right? Inside of you, you have fear, you have permafrost, and you have fire. Fear is the thing that stops most people. Fear of failure, fear of what other people think, fear of spouse, fear of rejection, fear of losing money, fear of success, all these fears, right? Fear is a choice. And then you have permafrost. So permafrost is a layer frozen inside you. And people think if I put good soil on top of frozen soil, it's going to grow, but it's still frozen. So what we need to do is we need to de-thaw that permafrost, which may open cans of whoop ass from the past failures, past relationships, or childhood. But until that de-thaws, and then there's the fire. And sometimes the fire always has to burn stronger than the fear. And that's something you can't put inside, you can't take it out. And the problem is that sometimes the fire is so strong that eventually the permafrost will start melting. But it also, like, success as a way of revealing things sometimes, because now you're not focused on your permafrost, you're focused on your survival. And now you have money, and then you start going back to the past. And because there's always an internal strife for entrepreneurs. So
there's a quote that I love, which is, I've found this to be fairly true with a lot of successful entrepreneurs, that money makes you a lot more of what you already are. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess they say if you're a giant asshole, then you have money, you'll become a bigger asshole. And if you're a good person with money, you become a better person. My philosophy is the more money you have, the less you care about it. So people understand. I had 8 million when I was 27. I stopped caring. Like, I'm not motivated by money. Like, for example, if I have to pay like a taxi $20 or parking for $26 for whatever reason, right? It just pisses me off, right? Like, the smallest things will piss me off. But like a $3 million deal and cost me $200,000, like whatever. So it's weird. The little things bother me. And in business, like when I win, like many times I've got over $1 million on deals, 1.4 recently, 2.6 coming today. I will not feel good about it one bit. I'd be like, okay. But if I lost, which doesn't happen often, I lost the deal, I lost the opportunity, or that will bother me like until I win again. So losing, so figure this, right? You played in the World Series, you win the championship. Woohoo, I won the championship. And then you're thinking, okay, next one, right? But if you lose all summer and all season, you think about winning. It's the same thing. Tom Brady, what do you say? What's his favorite trophy? The one he hasn't won yet.
So So when you think about, and it's funny, I did a show about this, which I call it the world's biggest lie, which is once I get to X, I'll be happy. It's a lie, right? So
Yeah.
it's a lie we all tell ourselves, and that's something I just heard you just say, which is, yeah, what's my biggest wins? The trophy I haven't received. What do you do to create, I guess, fulfillment if you know you have that achiever gap that's going to be showing up?
You're never going to be fulfilled as an entrepreneur. That's why it's called entrepreneurism, because it's always about the next deal, the chase, the hunt. If you're a true entrepreneur, you can't do nothing. What, a year ago in April when we did nothing, what happens? People just went like got bored out of their minds. So that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, Warren Buffett, with 92 years old, my coach is 93 years old. The definition of retirement is to remove oneself from useful service. So you never retire from doing the thing you love. What you retire is from something you don't like doing. And that's like work, job, traffic, any of those things that have making other people rich, whatever it is. But if you're a true entrepreneur, it never stops, and it's not about the money. Like, do you ever wonder? I always wonder why, like, a lot of A-list celebrities that are older come to my event. Pacino, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, they're all in their 70s. Pacino's in the 80s. Like, why in the world? Like, these are famous. You know what it is? They want to feel relevant. They want to feel that they're doing something. They want to feel like the applause, the pictures. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to women, they don't care. Like, they're like, whatever. I'd rather stay at home with the kids or do whatever I want, right? And enjoy my time, because women are built differently. There'd be way more women billionaire if they wanted to. There's not more women billionaire because it's a choice that they make, because they're like, between me and you, there's no difference between 100 million and $1 billion, other than the ego of saying I'm a billionaire. Right? People say, JT, you're going to be a billionaire? Yeah, that's pretty much sure I'm going to be a billionaire. I want to be in a Forbes 400. Why? Because that's the measuring stick, right? That's, if you're in the Forbes 400, it's a measuring stick in business. Just like in football, it's the Lombardi Trophy, the Stanley Cup, or the Vince Lombardi Trophy. So these are the things that we strive for, because those are measuring sticks. That's how you measure yourself in the game of business. But for the only way that you have more women billionaires is China, because obviously the culturally thing of China, like, man, this, so women just want to, like, they're some of the most brutal, straightforward that. So it's all about ego. If there was no ego involved, I could have stopped a long time ago. So for me, it's an ego play. Now, if I die, all my money's going to charity. And people say, what do you do with it? I'm just going to make another one. Doesn't matter. Like, if I had $1 billion tomorrow, I would not change one thing about the way I live.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I probably feel the same way. Let's go over to, when you were talking before about private equity and deals. Right now, you said that your goal is to get to 100 businesses you guys own by the end of the year. I'd love to hear, like, when you say, like, I want to be the next Blackstone, or BlackRock, where we look at these massive companies, these institutions. Steve Schwartzman built, was it Blackstone, right? He built that company. Yeah. When you look at those guys that have built these great companies, when you look at those great businesses and what they've created, and people probably have different opinions about that, but when you see yourself and how you're planning on getting there, what drives you from, like, a values perspective to want to build that, or how do you see yourself doing that?
I realize I can get the 9 figures by myself. I cannot get to 10 figures by myself. And there is an element of luck between 100 million to $1 billion. We had this debate recently. And I've talked to a lot of billionaires, and they said, like, you could get skills to get the 9 figures, drive, determination. There's a little bit of luck to get 9 figure, but skills will get you to 9 figures. To get to $1 billion, you have to be lucky. And people are like, no, it doesn't. Like, what if Elon Musk, what if he had lost out and it would have been the Fisker car over the Tesla? Right? That last rocket that launched at space, what if it blows up? It doesn't. Now, you may say it's risk, but there's an amount of luck, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's an amount of luck. And you, like, the Clubhouse now with, like, $1 billion valuation. I mean, you really think those two guys, people like, those are going to be billionaires? That the app caught on fire, Absolutely. Right? I don't know if the rumor is true, but Twitter could have bought them. They backed out, like, whatever reason it is. But like, there's an element, right time, right place. And of course, there's a skill taking risk. Elon Musk is willing to go all in. But again, that's that 9 figure versus that $1 billion. Because to have a product that has mass appeal to billions of people, there's an element. I mean, yeah, Dropbox is a great idea, but what if another company with a similar thing? Like, there isn't anything that's not invented, that there's always competition, or someone's working on something similar or variation. So, you take a look at the art of the deal, and to me, I realized to get to, like, the $1 billion mark, or just that, I just need people like me that think like me or are different than me, but have no ego. I don't need anybody to be me. I need people to be them. And I think if you could put the egos aside and to look at things that I don't see, to be able to support some of the things that I do, because I know what I'm good at, but there are things I'm not good at. So bringing people that complement me and I compliment them. There's some things that they're not good at that I am. And it's kind of figure the dream team, right? The dream team of people but we're all our own bosses, right? We're all our boss, but we hit a ceiling in our businesses at some point, right? There's only so much you could go, right? Without putting massive amount of money or something like that. Or scaling would actually cost you more money. You'd actually be bigger, but less make money, right? There's that point. Mm-hmm. But if we all just get together and have the driving force, then we'd be unstoppable. Because even when LeBron was the best player with the Lakers before they won the championship, they didn't make the playoffs, right? And he's the best player in the world. So you need that team around you. You need the Anthony Davis in this case. You needed other key players as well. They don't need to be better than you, right? But they need to be able to step up at what they do best. And I think that's what I've kind of realized, and that's what I want.
You got a hard stop here in 5?
What time is it? You can keep going.
Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, I have a hard stop in 20, but I'll get us off in like 10. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because you do see so many deals, because it's funny when you were talking about what you listen for to hear if people are legitimate or not. And so one of the things I enjoy most about hanging out with you on Clubhouse is when we start ripping into deals and hearing your perspective, and and I hear you talk about a lot of different deals from a lot of different angles. And you probably heard me do a lot of the same stuff. And so one of the things I'm interested in hearing your perspective on, because I do think that there's always a lot of noise in the marketplace on where the next opportunities lie. What areas, when you look at areas you're investing in right now, or areas you guys are taking risk in right now, what are things that are exciting you right now? Because we look at assets, super overvalued. There's a lot of opportunity in the marketplace, but there's also a lot of bullshit. What do you like? What are the things that are really like piquing your interest? What are the things you're wanting to put your money into?
Funny, you don't know until you know. I hate to say that, but every day you get a lot of deals, opportunities, and you take a look at, right now in a lot of real estate, I do a lot of short-term stuff, short-term money, short-term deals. I fund a lot of movies. There's such a backlog, first money in, first money out. So I make a lot of money doing that. And I make a lot of investments. I'm doing a lot of flips right now. I'm doing multi-units. And what we're doing is we're taking C conversions and converting them to Bs. But then we're actually holding on more or less to a year than flipping it, even though technically they're as hot as can be. Like we had one in Kentucky where we bought it for $654, put $416,000, and we're gonna be selling for $301 a year later.
Wow.
I think there's so much stupid money right now that everything is being overvalued. I mean, I'm part of an app. I just kind of started. It's going to be launching soon, and they're doing a Series A, and they're going to be raising $40 million. So I'm a 10% partner in that app, and it looks like it's going to hit a valuation of 250 million. So I hasn't even started yet. It's insane. No revenue. But we have a plan of monetization, but a lot of these people are not, because I just think there's so much money sitting on the sideline. I'm involved in another sort of technology play, kind of like Uber for chores type thing, things that need to be done as well. So there's a lot of different things I have. But the thing is, and I'm involved in other great other tech companies. I'm on boards with a couple of them as well that I'm invested in. But you just don't know until you know. I hate to say, I'm sort of sitting at the sea, and oh shit, I hear there are fishes there, and I'll take the boat there and just throw the net there, and then whatever comes out comes out. Looking back, is it kind of should I focus kind of like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos on one or two things? Probably. Would I be wealthier today? Probably. I'd be way more bored. So I kind of take the Richard Branson approach almost, which is why I kind of know why I'm not a billionaire. You know what I mean? And so, because I didn't hyper focus. Now I have a huge net worth, don't get me wrong. But I know I'm bothered by I should have doubled down on things, where I'm involved in integrative health medicine, where we're taking over practices and consolidating them because they're amazing doctors. They don't know how to market. They don't know how to run a business. So it's going to go in and then we partner with them. The idea is then to create a giant sort of, one giant company and then get bought out by by a private equity because kind of what they did with dentistry. So involved with that. I'm involved in deals like all over the world. New Zealand, I got some deals going on. I got some deals in Australia. So I got deals in Canada. It's all the fundamentals are kind of the same. So if I told you, we're working on very large office developments in Canada to take over that have like 30-year tenants. So like by big corporate tenants. So those are kind of safe. So, and then, I was talking to one of the partners I'm doing this Blackstone with. He lives in Hong Kong. And he says, we need to buy one known asset where people are like, yes, we know that. Like we own that. And can you use that as far? I never thought about it that way. Because right now, everything that I've done business with or raising money or getting deals is because I'm JT Foxx. Or if they don't know who I am, once they know my accomplishment. So now I need a known asset. So that's what we're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a credibility marker. So I want to go into,
because once you get to the next level, it's no longer about you. It's about the asset.
Right. Like, oh yeah, I own the Empire State Building.
It was Pixar. Steve Jobs was Apple at first.
Right.
Pixar, Steve Jobs was involved, but Pixar was Toy Story. Believe it or not, Jobs became a billionaire, not with Apple, with Pixar when it sold to Disney.
Interesting. Who is it? Ed Catmull. It was one of the founders of that company. And my wife's cousin dated one of his family members. But so we kind of saw those guys come up. They've did some pretty incredible stuff. But yeah, that's interesting to hear, right? That he's known for Apple, yet he came up through Pixar, through production of those now iconic movies, right? All these iconic pieces of media.
Because Next Computer was a failure.
Oh yeah, what did they call? What was the name of that computer?
Next Computers.
Yeah, Next Computers. Yeah, it's an interesting story, right?
400. They paid $400 so he can come back to Apple. That's really what it was. It wasn't nothing they used that. They paid $400 million to get Steve Jobs back. That's really what they did. So, because obviously they were $20,000 computers they're trying to sell to schools. So clearly that was not a market.
Yeah. That's crazy. I want to get we're coming towards the end of the show, but I just wanted to ask you one question. So I was watching. It's funny. I think this is on your social media. I saw it was you singing. Grease. Was it to John Travolta? Man, that's actually. By the way, that's why I was going to sing that song to you today, but I chose Annie Lennox instead because I was watching Sopranos season 4, and
I never heard that song you did, and maybe if I actually heard even if there was a song I couldn't focus because it's just so. It was like, by the way, I thought cats were being murdered, and I'm like, that is wrong. He does down here as well, and I'm gonna report you.
I literally was watching Sopranos season 4. They ended on that song, and I'm like, I'm singing that to JT tomorrow. So,
well, I thought they ended Sopranos. Oh, you said season 4, but the Sopranos ended with the song with what's it called? "Don't Stop Believing" by
yeah, the Journey song. No. I'm on season 5 now, but yeah, no.
That's a song. You never watched Sopranos?
Me, of course. It's the second time. Hey, listen. By the way, if you haven't watched Sopranos in a while, go rewatch it. It's like watching it for the first time. It's a gift.
You know what I just rewatched again to get motivated, and it really worked? The Last Dance by Michael Jordan.
God, wow, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that yet.
Dude, if you watch, it's on Netflix. If you broke flicks, I also call. If you're broke, don't be watching that. Be watching MillionaireFlix, not broke flicks. But the point is, like watching the way Michael Jordan was, which by the way, in today's world would be like he's bullying the greatness. You got to watch it. Probably the best series I've ever seen.
I'm watching it. Done.
By far.
Brother, man, it's been too long for us to not do this. I can't wait to do it again. I'm going to sing another song for you.
Oh, there you do. Hold on. I'm going to play a song for you.
All right, let's do it.
I'm playing a song. Hold on. You know what I mean? It's my favorite song. I've been inspired. So here we go. Let me play it.
All right, let's do it.
Sometimes I dream.
Oh, yeah.
Got to see that's how I dream to be. I dream I move. I dream I groove like Mike.
If I could be like Mike.
See, that was your cue.
Mike. If I could be like Mike.
I actually listen to that song every morning. Get up. That's like my motivating song.
I love
I don't
it.
know why. It's just so catchy. It was like, I think it's the greatest. It's the greatest commercial ever. I think second is the Apple 1984.
Yeah, it's a great
Those are
commercial.
the greatest commercials. But it's just like you gotta love Michael Jordan. Just the way like Chicago. I wish I'd lived in Chicago in that area because I lived in Canada. In fact, fun fact is the first time I saw Michael Jordan, I was at the airport. And it was like, I think it was game one against the Lakers where he did that move where, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. First, I was hooked after that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, basketball wasn't like, there weren't the Raptors there, there weren't the Grizzlies. So
that's right.
That was the
JT, so where can people find you, man? I know you're doing a lot of cool stuff, helping people through coaching and whatnot. Where can people find you, connect with you?
If they go to my Instagram, JT Foxx Official, there's a link, free mentoring. Once a week, I mentor people one-on-one and for free. It's a way of giving back. So other people say, JT, I can't afford 6-7 figures. All right, we'll do it for free. And also to MillionaireFlix.com. It's pretty much like 7,000 hours of everything I've ever done from broke to where I am today. I've actually recorded every one of my coaching sessions. So everything I talked about today is actually recorded and talked to. So last 10 years, 7 hours or 12 hours of coaching, 7,000 hours of products. They can get it for $20 at MillionaireFlix.com.
Very cool. Guys, what a treat having my main man, JT Foxx here. Love being on stage with you, buddy, hanging out. And we're going to have to do it in real life when this whole pandemic thing's over. Thank you for coming on the show, man.
As long as don't sing, I'll be there. If not, I can't support you.
You should wait and see when I'm doing karaoke with a crowd. It's like it's next level.
So if you had no money and you had no success, like you'd be like, it would not be tolerated. And that's the problem. They tolerate this nonsense.
Guys, on that note, we're out of here. Love you guys so much.
I love your singing, but they're just kissing your ass.
Yeah, they fucking hate my singing.
Hey, who a guy that just like wanted to be a singer his whole life, and now because you've made a lot of money, you've had a lot of success, now you think gives you the permission to do that as well. And no one wants to say anything because they're like, oh no, Darius, with the pink head, I can't offend them.
They tell me I tell people I'm a solid 4 out of a scale of 1 to 10. Like I'm not a 1. I'm a 4. I'm a 4. Come on.
4 out of 100?
4 out of 10.
4 out of 100 is generous.
Oh, guys. We'll see you guys later on. Love you, JT.
By the way, when you look in the mirror, what do you rate yourself? Let's see. Let's compare that one.
Oh, I'm like a 6.5.
By the way, why don't you stand up and give us a twirl? Why don't you stand up and give us a twirl? And by the way, is that a jacket right out of like the 1980s? The bomber jacket? Like that? Did you do a garage sale? I'd be like, hey, I put all my money in the interior of my house, not the exterior. So I'm going to get a bomber jacket.
It's a Hugo Boss jacket, actually. So it's Hugo Boss bomber jacket. Yeah. It's just fancy. See, I'm understated excellence, man. You don't even know.
Lower than Marshall or JC Penney's if there's any of them left. That's what
I know. I'm paying $400 for a jacket I could have got for $30.
Listen, if you would have got a Ross or TJ Maxx, you would have got it for $10. Now it might have been a little, crooked or anything, but me too. I have a JT Foxx power tie. I have a JT Foxx suit. I have my own brand. I got JT Foxx jogging pants on. So I got the whole thing. Going.
I love it, man. Guys, we'll see you guys later. Peace out.